Normally used to playing in front of crowds of no more than 40,000, so it's a big day for them, especially against a team of Arsenal's prowess and calibre. Well, in terms of the teams, Sydney FC start with 5 players who began their grand final, but Arsenal have 3 players who started the FA Cup final 7 weeks ago. Per Mertesacker, who was outstanding in that match, captains the team, as I mentioned. Mesut Ozil and Danny Welbeck also played in that game at Wembley. New signing Sead Kolasinac also starts, as do 4 players from the academy side: Christian Bielik, Cohen Bramall, Reece Nelson and Joe Willock. Arsenal's record signing Alexandre Lacazette starts amongst the substitutes. Sydney's 5 players who began their triumphant A-League Grand Final against Melbourne Victory 2 months ago are Alex Brosk, their experienced skipper, Jordi Baus, Michael Zulo, Joshua Brillante and Brandon O'Neill. Goalkeeper Andrew Redmayne is not only a self-confessed Arsenal fan, he also spent 2 weeks on trial at Arsenal as a fresh-faced 16-year-old back in 2006. Our referee is Sean Evans, down the near side. Played forward. In the end, it's put out of play at the back by Joshua Brillante.
Yeah, that man Reece Nelson there, streaking down the right-hand side. Releases the ball at the right time. Showed great pace though, didn't he? And an enthusiasm to get down, to put that pass in.
Mesut Ozil with the first corner of the game. Pushes it in towards the back edge of that 6-yard area. Mertesacker's there, and Per Mertesacker gives Arsenal a 4th-minute lead. Close range, not dealt with by Sydney FC, and the Gunners go in front. It's the first goal of their pre-season tour, and it's been scored by their captain.
Yeah, close range effort, but it's still a really good finish. I think for Per Mertesacker, it's almost an overhead kick. He does really well here. He's doing a good centre-forwards job, really. He's holding off the defenders in there. Yeah, are we going to give him that as an overhead kick? He's falling over as he goes in. Maybe not quite. Still a good finish from the big man. I think he'll be really happy with that. His contribution right at the start of this season, especially where he left last season with such a great performance and so tired. To get that goal today would be great for him.
Over on the way home. The game's against Bayern and Chelsea. Ball pushed forward, looking for the run of Welbeck. Walcott's now in the middle. Secondary run being made here by Bramall. Couldn't find the target, but the intent was good and the run was good from Cohen Bramall.
Yeah, the run was fantastic, Mike. He picked that ball up in his own half. He ran with it, played the pass, and then carried on running, went for the return. You know, for me, that's a really good ball across the 6-yard box. As a manager, I'd be saying someone needs to be sliding in on that, and Theo was...
Also the experience, Giroud, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Monreal in there as well. Here's Nelson, delivered in, just too far ahead of Welbeck. And then eventually it looks to be cleared up the line by Paulo Retret.
Yeah.
Ozil. Field it goes, played towards Nelson, lets the ball run into his right foot. Now an opportunity for Welbeck. Good defensive work at the back by Sydney. Great block from Sebastian Ryle to keep out Welbeck.
Done really well again there, Nelson. Ball was banged into him quite firmly here. And it's tight for the tackle, but he manages to ride it, come out with the ball and releases it to Danny Welbeck. It's good defending by Sydney at the end.
Just over a quarter of an hour played. Per Mertesacker's goal, so far the difference. Ozil with the delivery from the corner, all the way through. Welbeck initially, and then Walcott with the final header.
It's a half chance for Walcott. Got a feeling he'd already jumped, Mike, and was in the air, and when you do that you can't sort of have a second reaction to head the ball. Let's have a look here. jumping backwards, really difficult to get any purchase and get that going forwards. Really, really good prospect.
Good position for Mesut Ozil. Mertesacker looking to add to his earlier goal. Going to be Welbeck, who'll drive it into the near post and off the head of a Sydney defender. It's out for another corner kick.
I think Danny Welbeck's gone for the goal there. He's gone to whip it into that near post gap that the goalkeeper leaves. Yeah, that's not a cross for anybody. That's a full-paced bang-up goal. Unlucky, just not high enough.
Ozil with a resulting corner. Up goes Bielik. Watched all the way by Redmayne.
Good effort. Difficult to keep down that one though, and it's a standing jump. Always going to be hard to get a lot of power on that. Yeah, he's being marshalled by Retro as well, and it's a difficult header.
Willock. His brother Chris, of course, left Arsenal for Benfica. Yeah, 2 weeks ago on a 5-year contract.
Yeah, I've seen Chris a couple of times.
Here's Welbeck. Chance maybe for him to extend Arsenal's lead. Great block by Real at close range. Again, back from Ozil. Lovely reverse ball. Walcott. Redmayne spills it, but keeps it from going in.
Yeah, it's a good strike from Walcott. I think really you're coached to go across to the far post there, but he spotted a little gap. But for me, it's all about Nelson. He's opening up all kinds of spaces with his runs and his movement for Mesut Ozil, and he's doing fantastic.
Joe Willock and Reiss Nelson, both 17 years of age. Forward it goes. Offside though, as the shot comes in from Walcott.
Yeah, he just crept from an offside position, came forward to receive the ball, but didn't make his move early enough and was still offside when the ball was passed. He's been lively up there, Theo. He's been looking for lots of bits and pieces. Club.
This is good play from Sydney, who've made a way into the Arsenal penalty area. Check saves, and the rebound from Simon is into the side netting. Very close to an equaliser for Sydney FC. It's the first time we've seen them threaten the Arsenal goal. Great running from the back. Czech had to make the save. Simon, frame of the goal.
Yeah, brilliant. Just getting on the other side of Czech. Czech couldn't turn quick enough to pick him up. The ball just went slightly too wide for Matthew Simon to be able to force it into the net. But as you said, first good attack from Sydney.
Now Arsenal looking to extend their lead. Here's Walcott, gets the shot. Good save by Redmayne again. He blocks the shot. Good double stop from the man who had a 2-week trial at Arsenal.
That's right. First one, Theo Walcott moves it to the side, bangs it, and then Francis Coquelin following up. But the double save there by Redmayne. You know,
it's the rerun here of the double save from Redmayne. Walcott initially, and then Coquelin.
I think the second one there from Coquelin is their composure. It's easy to be sharp and to make mistakes because you're trying to do everything too quick and you know, force things, but their actual composure in areas has been fantastic.
Great run here down the middle. Willock, saved by Redmayne. Oh, so close to a goal for 17-year-old Joe Willock. He saw it. He saw it in his eyes that he was going to get that goal, but Redmayne decided he wasn't going to score. Yeah,
Redmayne came out just at the right time, closed the angle down. Look, just enough, but, you know, he's done brilliant, Willock. It was a great run. You know, maybe a foot further wide, or if he'd gone to the keeper's, Redmayne's left, but it's a fantastic run from the youngster.
Seen a great deal of Sead Kolasinac, as he's playing in a defensive role, hasn't seen much of the ball. Here's a chance for Arsenal and Theo Walcott.
Good play from Joe Willock again. He's composed in that defensive mid area, picks up the ball. His pass into Theo's feet is perfect time because Theo's coming in front of the defender to spin him. As the Ox there having a few selfies. He'll be desperate to get on Mike, won't he? could have put Emirates on the side of that piece of paper.
This falling here for Ozil to the back post. Chance coming in and deflection all the way through. Ozil can't keep it in play. And Reiss Nelson will be a little frustrated with himself. He didn't connect better with that shot.
Yeah, he was under it for a long time, wasn't he? And you'd think that you can get the sort of gauge the flight of the ball, but they're notoriously difficult. And Mesut Ozil's cut that back. There is a little bit of spin on it, and he just hasn't caught it right. Mesut Ozil, though, reacted quick enough to get on it again, put it across, and it's gone out for a corner for Arsenal.
Delivered by a German all the way through off the knees of Kolasinac. His shot is blocked. Ozil again to the edge of the area. Walcott with the drive. Again, it's charged down by Sydney. That's good defensive work by Francis Coquelin. His corners have caused Sydney problems. On the line it goes. Nelson cuts it back. Here's Walcott. It's gone underneath it there, Theo.
Yeah, again, young Reiss Nelson. First half, it didn't take him more than a few minutes to get involved down that right-hand side.
Martinez in the bright red. Belingoy against Bramall. Now it's Brillante. Played into a nice gap there. Carney lays it off. Substitutes Zavella, and a save early on for Emi Martinez. Header check only made one in the first half. Well, that's taken 5 minutes for Martinez to be involved.
Yeah, he made one. Remember, Arsenal have not changed any outfield players yet, so I think the dynamics of the game will change slightly when other players come on. With Nelson again down the right.
Got 2 players in the penalty area, 2 more joining them. It's gone all the way through to Bramall. Takes control of the ball, and Redmayne again on hand to save. Another of the Arsenal youngsters with a chance. That's Nelson, Willock and Bramall have all had good opportunities in this game.
Yeah, the 2 wide-sided players, and what I like about here, Bramall, he doesn't just have a lash at it, he's very controlled and composed in there. You know, he doesn't think, I'm just going to hit this anyway, so I'm getting closed down. He tries to find a guided pass with the left.
It's getting a bit tangled.
Yeah, again, Arsenal getting drawn into that tight area that Sydney want them to be in, so that they come on. It's a terrible back pass.
Straight to Danny Welbeck. Squares it in, and Theo Walcott's shot is saved by Ryle, but I think that might be a penalty. Referee confers with his assistant on the far side. Sebastian Ryle claims he didn't use his arm to block it. It was goalward bound. Should it be a red?
Well, I think you got it right when you said it was a good save by Ryle, and I think it was a save. I think in the context of the game, the referee's going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he just caught his arm on the slide, hopefully, and there won't be no other action taken. It does result in a penalty for Arsenal, but it came from that awful back pass from Lockie Nongoy.
It actually did hit him on the back.
Oh, it did in the replay.
It did hit him on the back.
Yeah. I thought it caught his arm first. No, it's the middle of his back. You're dead right, Mike. It's the first time we've seen the replay. I've got to say it's an injustice then for the penalty to be given.
The fans seem to know about it as well. He was protesting his innocence, was Ryle.
Yeah.
He's saying it hit my back, and then he's suggesting that it wasn't seen clearly by the assistant.
I think we need to have a word with the TV guys and get a replay a little bit quicker as well, because it was a minute before we saw that one.
Well, he did confer. He did confer with the assistant quickly. He didn't make the decision straight away. Arsenal have been given a penalty here, and it is rough justice on Sebastian Ryle. Danny Welbeck will have a chance to extend Arsenal's lead in slightly controversial circumstances. It might only be a friendly. There's a chance for Redmayne to really show what he's worth, and he does save it, and justice has been done.
Yeah, justice has been done, and that's fair enough. You've got to say it wasn't the greatest penalty by Danny Welbeck, but with the circumstances before it, I think probably Danny was aware that it wasn't supposed to be a penalty as well. So probably there was a little bit of guilt in the way he struck that ball. He didn't have the conviction that he probably would have had if he'd known it had been a justified decision. So yeah, I think that's fair dues, and it's the proper outcome.
Well, he can add that to his CV now. I saved a penalty against Arsenal.
And able to get down that right-hand side with good pace.
Now a chance for Nelson again. This one straight at Redmayne.
He's involved in everything. Nice little 1-2, gets the return pass. Gets another shot at goal. Got to have had 4.
In the Emirates Cup, we'll see a lot more of him.
Yeah, you want him to be sort of firing on all cylinders by then. We might see him, a little cameo, 10 minutes at the end.
Bramwell plays it forward, Ozil cuts it back, space for Walcott. Another save from Redmayne.
Yeah, another save from Redmayne. It is directly at him. I think sometimes you...
Tour match of Australia. Moved forward by Zavella. Simon in the middle along with Iredale. Lokalingoi goes for goal. That took a nasty deflection in front of Martinez.
It did. Lokalingoi gets a good shot off and it just dips into the ground, skids off the surface. But what he does well, Martinez, is he holds on to it. He's got 2 Sydney players bearing down on him as this comes in. I think, yeah, look, 2 of them ready to pounce by the control they've had in the game. But yeah, Sydney aren't doing too bad. They've made a couple of chances for themselves.
Joe Willock has it, gets a shot in. Well, it's an easy one for Redmayne. It's actually at Emirates Stadium just a few weeks ago doing a tour. Well, goodness me, how many players are going to come on?
Yeah, we was looking at 1-1.
It's with Malin again. Lacazette. To Xhaka. To the far side, good footwork. Opportunity knocks maybe for Nketiah.
Nketiah managing just at the end to get the ball out of his feet. Struggled at first because his first touch it was right down by his feet. That right hand side we've seen a few attempts. I think here rides the tackle, gets it out of his feet. It's a bit wide. I think really you've got to keep possession there. He's got a player outside of him.
Here's the Swiss again, Xhaka. It's a back from Lacazette. Now Iwobi into Lacazette again. Plays it on, chance here. Look, that looked like it might have come off an arm. Intentional. Malin getting in a really good position there. And it came off Patrick Flotman.
Yeah, Malin just needed the ball slightly more in front of him from the pass from Lacazette. It's a good offer from Lacazette there. Just a little bit too close to the defender. Yes, our coaches and you know, he's really up for it this season.
Here he comes now, pushes it to the right. Iwobi, saved by Redmayne. Malin picks it up. Good cover work by the substitute, Michael Hatton.
Not always direct centre forward, because he is an out-and-out middle man, and he has that pace. And also, he's got a touch of the end rights about him. He's a little bit unpredictable in certain circumstances with his finishing. I think that's what he'll give us.
Ox with a free kick then. Here it comes. Delivered, saved again by Redmayne. It's a good save to his left. There's Iwobi.
End up in the last of the corner. As you said, 1-0 is not really the scoreline that this game should be. Arsenal haven't been as clinical as they could be in front of goal.
Shot comes in and it hits the post from Nketiah. Well, that's twice he's been in good positions, and there he went very, very close to scoring his first goal for the senior team.
He did. He made a good contact, came across it, and that's probably the only time a side foot is the...
To put the result beyond any doubt. Nketiah tries for handball again. Could be more reluctant to give a penalty after what happened earlier. Oxlade-Chamberlain cuts it back. Giroud can't get there. It almost falls to Lacazette.
He's got a big smile on his face and he's clenching his fist because he knows that was a really powerful run from the Ox, and it was the perfect decision to play that little dinking chip. But again, pounced on by the Sydney players, but the youngster up front, he just didn't have enough strength, did he, to deal with the Arsenal defenders.
Nketiah down that line. Giroud is making a run in the middle. Lacazette's slightly deeper. Here he is, Alexander Lacazette scores his opening goal for the Gunners within minutes of coming on, and their big money signing makes an immediate impact. It's a simple finish, but it's a good confidence booster and settles him in. Arsenal 2, Sydney FC 0.
Yeah, it's just what he wanted. Look at all the players, they're absolutely delighted for him. It's a good assist from Iwobi. It's a kind of standard run, standard pass, but it's all about the timing. He's coming into that area at the right time. You've still got to have the composure to slide that in. Redmayne's, you know, he's got on top of all of them for most of this game, apart from Mertesackers. And it takes that man Lacazette to break the deadlock in this second half, make it 2-0 to Arsenal and get his first goal. Really pleased for him.
Victory again, their closest rivals, who they beat in the grand final. Again here, Arsenal just a little bit untidy, but it's good defensive work by Lacazette of all people. Charging down the left is Oxlade-Chamberlain. Giroud's in the middle. No free kick, just a corner.
Yeah, good run by Ox, but as you said, Lacazette pulling really deep there, turning, forcing the ball in the front of Ox, letting him chase it, but he's right behind him, backing him up in the box, trying to get the return.
Normally used to playing in front of crowds of no more than 40,000, so it's a big day for them, especially against a team of Arsenal's prowess and calibre. Well, in terms of the teams, Sydney FC start with 5 players who began their grand final, but Arsenal have 3 players who started the FA Cup final 7 weeks ago. Per Mertesacker, who was outstanding in that match, captains the team, as I mentioned. Mesut Ozil and Danny Welbeck also played in that game at Wembley. New signing Syed Kolasinac also starts, as do 4 players from the academy side: Christian Bielik, Cohen Bramall, Reece Nelson and Joe Willock. Arsenal's record signing Alexandre Lacazette starts amongst the substitutes. Sydney's 5 players who began their triumphant A-League grand final against Melbourne Victory 2 months ago are Alex Brosk, their experienced skipper, Jordi Baus, Michael Zulo, Joshua Brillante and Brandon O'Neill. Goalkeeper Andrew Redmayne is not only a self-confessed Arsenal fan, he also spent 2 weeks on trial at Arsenal as a fresh-faced 16-year-old back in 2006. Our referee is Sean Evans, down the near side. Played forward. In the end, it's put out of play at the back by Joshua Brillante.
Yeah, that man Reece Nelson there, streaking down the right-hand side. Releases the ball at the right time. Showed great pace though, didn't he? And enthusiasm to get down, to put that pass in.
Mesut Ozil with the first corner of the game. Pushes it in towards the back edge of that 6-yard area. Mertesacker's there, and Per Mertesacker gives Arsenal a 4th-minute lead. Close range, not dealt with by Sydney FC, and the Gunners go in front. It's the first goal of their pre-season tour, and it's been scored by their captain.
Yeah, close range effort, but it's still a really good finish. I think for Per Mertesacker, it's almost an overhead kick. He does really well here. He's doing a good centre-forwards job, really. He's holding off the defenders in there. Yeah, are we going to give him that as an overhead kick? He's falling over as he goes in. Maybe not quite. Still a good finish from the big man. I think he'll be really happy with that. His contribution right at the start of this season, especially where he left last season with such a great performance and so tired. To get that goal today would be great for him.
Over on the way home. The game's against Bayern and Chelsea. All pushed forward, looking for the run of Welbeck. Walcott's now in the middle. Secondary run being made here by Bramall. Couldn't find the target, but the intent was good and the run was good from Cohen Bramall.
Yeah, the run was fantastic, Mike. He picked that ball up in his own half. He ran with it, played the pass, and then carried on running, went for the return. You know, for me, that's a really good ball across the 6-yard box. as a manager, I'd be saying someone needs to be sliding in on that, and Theo was...
Also the experience, Giroud, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Monreal in there as well. Here's Nelson, delivered in, just too far ahead of Welbeck. And then eventually it looks to be cleared up the line by Paulo Retre.
Yeah.
Ozil. Field it goes, played towards Nelson, lets the ball run into his right foot. Now an opportunity for Welbeck. Good defensive work at the back by Sydney.